Hey guys. So, oh, I don't know if anybody heard that, but that was definitely my joints. Tonight I thought I would do another altar deconstruction, reconstruction chat. And I initially thought that this would be good to do because I wanted to do a video talking about Yule and not so much how to celebrate it, but really more my struggles with it this year. And I know I'm not alone. So I'm going to get into it as I'm actually constructing my Yule altar, and I felt that this might be helpful for some of you. So I know I am not the only person on the planet who struggles with the holiday season. I know I'm not the only person who really has a hard time around this time of the year for various reasons. And for me, a large part of it is grief. My mother passed away of cancer in 2018, very suddenly. And I was, at the time, only 32 years old, and she was 63. So, um, you know, it, I've talked about it many times on my channel, but my mother, when I was a kid, everything that she made magical about the holidays, it was all her. Everything magical about the holidays was her. And now that I am an adult, I know that. I have a deep awareness of it, thinking like all of that I experienced came from her. And I just get sad because I genuinely miss her. And this last year, 2021, um, the last remaining members of my mother's immediate family I lost as well. I lost my uncle suddenly in August and my grandmother in October. So that means that my mother, my grandparents, and my two uncles are gone. There is no, I don't have anybody left on that side aside from my cousins, my brothers, and my two aunts who are still with us. But as for my mom's immediate family, they're all gone. And that's been very difficult, especially as I go into the holiday season and have all these memories of these people who are no longer in my lives. And, that's a grief. But grief is grief and healing are both not linear. They are a cycle. The cycle that actually just goes round and round a lot of the time. And I find myself feeling frustrated that we have a unrealistic outlook on grief and death in Western culture. And I think that's also one of the reasons why I work with the deities that I do. But I, um, I really want to talk about this a little more openly because I got some more joints. I know that I'm not the only person who's really going through this. And I find myself, as the holidays have started to approach, after Samhain, I get into this mode of, I don't want to be experiencing the next month and a half, which is actually unfortunate if you really think about it, because November is quite an eventful month for my family. My anniversary with my husband is in November, and my son's birthday is in November. My son just turned 7. So those things are obviously something that's deeply important to me, of course. But somehow this looming dread of the holiday season kind of sucks a little bit of the fun out of that for me. And I really just end up with the same thought over and over in my head of, I wish that I could just go into the woods for a month and a half and not, not talk to anybody, not engage with anybody, just sit and talk to the gods or, not have to deal with all of the holiday stuff. And the other, the other issues that I have with that, the other things that are troublesome for me is I was raised in a secular house, and I'm grateful for that. I don't carry a whole lot of religious trauma. I more just carry a little bit of um, that ingrained societal religious. I don't want to say trauma because I don't personally think, but it's more like a programming, I guess is the best way to describe it. But um, when I was growing up, my parents more so looked at the holidays as this is a time that we spend with our family. This is a time where we are show gratitude towards the people in our lives and we spend time with it. And they taught me of like Santa and all that stuff when I was little. Um, and I loved being able to have that magic involved in it. And I did find that very meaningful. But there wasn't really any talk of Christmas. There wasn't really any talk of Christ or Christianity or anything like that. We had Christian neighbors. My mother would go watch my neighbors sing on Christmas Eve sometimes at her church to support her, but there was never any pressure. And my mother she didn't really carry religious beliefs. She was agnostic. So it was more of a, I believe something's there, but I'm not quite sure what it is kind of thing. And she told me that up to before she got sick. She was always very supportive of my beliefs, though. And I was very grateful for that. When I started to look into paganism as a teenager, she didn't have any preconceived notions of thinking it was evil or anything like that. She just was like, oh, okay. Like, I want to read some books about it. I'm curious. And I am so grateful to be able to have that kind of support. I know there are so many people who don't, and it's horrible. So I miss that from her. I miss that kind of support. I miss that genuine curiosity of my beliefs from her. But I do get it from my older brother and my brother, who's um, 15 months, my middle brother, I should say, is like, I think he would ask me or talk to me if he felt like he needed to. But first, quick interjection here. This is my altar cloth. I just picked this up. Um, it's so pretty. Like, it's actually quite perfect for what I like, the aesthetic that I would like to display with you. So, um, actually, I'm going to grab some incense really quickly. If I have any cedar incense, it's usually my preference when it comes to cleansing. But, oh, nope, I found my sage spray. I've had this forever. um, Usually just do a little bit of that, and there we go. Um, so I know not everyone has that support, and I know that goes into a complication that adds to the complicated feelings that we have around the holidays and the anxiety of dealing with gathering of family members who are quite honestly not kind, or they are judgmental, or they just don't understand you in many different ways. And you feel like a pariah, or you feel like an outsider. And I will admit, although they have been nothing but kind to me for the most part, I do tend to feel this way with my husband's extended family because they are all Lutheran, and although my husband is not, he's an atheist. Um, that was his childhood, was being raised in the church, having that understanding of it and that exposure. And I came from one of the most liberal parts of the country, so I tend to feel like an outsider even now, and we've been together for 15 years. When I go to family gatherings, because we don't celebrate Christmas very much. And in fact, if it weren't for my children, quite frankly, I don't think I'd be celebrating Christmas at all anymore. Um, and so I have some complicated feelings around that of, why can't I just let my pagan freak flag fly? And why do I have to feel so weird? And as I've gotten older, I've realized something that my patience for being in the broom closet is very little now. I'd rather just be my authentic self. And if someone really does take issue with that, that's not exactly my problem. It's not exactly my issue. That's their problem they have chose to have with me from some sort of judgment that they feel is necessary. And I personally would much rather be comfortable with who I am completely and authentically. Now, I will say this with one preference here. I do understand that that is not a luxury that we all have. I understand that completely. And a lot of people remain in the broom closet to protect themselves. And if you feel that is necessary for you, by all means, please protect yourself above all other, um, above everything else. However, I personally, for the most part, am safe. And if I was ever put in a position where it came that I wasn't, I would have people who could help me or whatnot. That being said, magical protection is very important, guys. So, I'm really feeling like silver and green. Normally, I really much prefer like the blue and silver for Christmas, for solstice colors. But I've been experimenting more with playing around with these colors as they kind of are more closer to what I kind of see like Norse or nature or that sort of thing when it comes to solstice. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so those are some of my grievances um with the holiday season, just feeling out of place as a pagan, as a person who doesn't, our beliefs aren't still even fully recognized. And if they are, they're very much ridiculed by anybody who does not understand them. And that does wear on you no matter who you are. If you're in the broom closet or out, it wears on you. It's exhausting. It truly is. And because we as human beings are creatures of connection. We want to feel a sense of belonging. It is very important to us, no matter who you are, no matter how much of a loner you are, no matter if you're an introvert or an extrovert, it's the reality of who we are. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that sense of belonging can be difficult. Whoops. And stuff. Can be difficult during the holidays. It really can. Breaking more stuff. So that is definitely one of my personal grievances when it comes to holidays. The other one, as I mentioned, is grief. And I do take issue with a lot of the consumerism that happens around holidays. I really have grown to have a disdain for it in many different ways. If I choose to get a gift for someone, I'm happy to do so just purely because I care for them. And that is sometimes my love language. But there is an incessant amount of greed that happens around this time of the year and happens around really in their country, honestly, on a very large scale. And I take issue with that as well. So, that's something that I struggle with, and that's okay. It is what it is. But, um, you know, I thought this year that instead of running from my feelings and going and hiding in the woods, as much as that would be wonderful, I, in all reality, cannot do that. I'm a wife and a mother, and I have mundane things outside of my desires that I need to care for. Um, so, much like my family, of course. And I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna struggle this year. I know that. That's inevitable. And I'm going to just let my feelings come and go, wax and wane, do what they need to do, and that's okay. However, I also think that what will bring me a lot of peace is to genuinely embrace this season. And I felt that that would be really, really achieved by actually going and decorating for the solstice. When I was little, my mother would always wait until the day after Thanksgiving to start decorating for Christmas. Day after Thanksgiving, that Friday, you can guarantee she'd be playing Christmas music, even though we were a secular family, and she would be decorating. And it was like that was the day that the magic turned on for her, I guess. And that was okay. I liked it. And for me, I don't decorate for Yule until then anyway, as a connection to my mother, I guess. And I also have started to really have my personal feelings on Thanksgiving. If it was my preference, I probably wouldn't really celebrate it. Mostly because I don't need one day to show gratitude. And then I have a lot of thoughts and feelings on, our indigenous people who have suffered enough. So, um, those are my own thoughts on it, really, as Cliff Notes as I possibly can. But I do trying to figure out what I want here. I have a kleptomaniac cat, so setting up this altar might be a little difficult because she likes to steal my shit. Um, which is funny because her predecessor also liked to steal my shit. I can't win. But anyway, so I really did feel that going and embracing the holidays, at least in regards to my holiday, my solstice, my Yule, my beliefs, the things that I do around this time of the year, instead of doing them with some sort of reluctance, why not embrace them with love? Because this is my time to shine in a way. This is my holiday season too, and it doesn't just belong to everyone else, but it belongs to all of us, including me, and that is okay too. So I decided that I was just gonna take it and roll with it. And here we are. I am trying to decorate my altar while talking to you guys. I know the holidays suck. I know that they're difficult for many, many people, as I've said, and there are many different things that we can do to try and give ourselves some peace. It's so funny because this is Santa, but I see it and I'm like, oh, it's Odin. It's fine. Being a Scandinavian bull descent, it's just I have all these memories of like my grandfather doing stuff that was just so unbelievably Scandinavian growing up when it comes to the holidays and stuff too. So it's just really funny. I've actually been looking for a Yule goat, which is those little like straw goats with like the red ribbon. And if anyone knows where I could buy one, let me know. And I had actually messaged my brother and I had said, "Do you guys have one of these?" And he said, "Yeah, actually we have one and it's grandpa's." And I was like, "That's probably where I remember seeing it." It was my grandfather's. And I was like, "Oh, that's so awesome." um it made me happy just because I miss him so terribly. And, again, that's more grief that's just adding to this complicated season. So I thought I would ramble on here a little bit, just talking about how basically, in a nutshell, I don't like the holidays. I'm not super fond of them, but I really do want to embrace the solstice because it is a very beautiful holiday. And as of last year, I have now started recognizing Mother's Night as well. And to me, that is a very beautiful holiday. And, uh, you know, now this year, I now have my grandmother who is also part of my this year. So, um, to me, that is even more meaningful. Both my mother, my grandmother, and my great grandmother are my this year. So I take a lot of comfort in that through my grief. And I know that there are so many people who are missing someone in the holidays. For whoever they were to you, they matter and your feelings matter and your pain matters, your grief matters. So I hope that you don't run from it. And I hope that you do feel the things that you need to feel because it is painful. And this time of the year brings up a lot of memories of those people or memories that you maybe had hoped to share with them. And that is complicated and there's a lot of layers to it. But my other hope that I plan to embrace with this holiday season is the fact that I want to make my own traditions and I want to honor being a pagan mother. And as I put the statue of the All Mother down, that was completely unintentional, guys. Um, being a pagan mother and embracing my my journey as that because it does mean something, and I've spent so much time trying to be careful of what I say and really monitor how I speak to my sons because I'm so terrified of indoctrinating them that I think I'm actually doing the opposite, where I just am not including them. And I don't want to leave them in the dark for my beliefs. I just don't think that that's okay. So I plan on sharing a little bit more and more about my beliefs and the holidays. I plan on including them a little bit more in my celebration for Yule. And it's never going to be a you have to do this. It's never going to be a I demand anything, any participating from them, or I tell them that this is the only way because I just can't do that to my children. I can't. They have to make their own decisions. But I really hope that they grow up having a respect and reverence for the cycles of nature and nature itself and how powerful and beautiful it is, even if they don't necessarily go down the pagan path. And that's fine. I just want them to understand that this is a big part of my life. This is the lens in which I see the world through, and that's important as well. And I it's complicated being a pagan parent because society hasn't exactly made this job easy for us in general, and to practice a religion that society also doesn't really look at super great is challenging, really, to say the least. So, um, I do my best now to more embrace this part of me and the importance that it has upon my life. And, for instance, my children, um, they are allowed to open a gift on the solstice, and a lot of the times I will try and take them for a walk or something, a nature walk, even though it gets cold here in Minnesota. We try to do that every solstice, and I tell them why, and I try to include them in that regard. And I know I'm not the only pagan parent here either, so I know the complications that come with parenthood, and that alone is challenging, but to add the difficulties of practicing a belief structure that isn't exactly, as I've said several times in this video, looked upon very well. For those who aren't, informed of it, it can be a challenge. But I'm sort of talking in a circle at this point. So as much as I want to continue putting up, or as much as I want to continue chatting as I'm working on this, I am going to actually end the video now. But I will share a photo on my Instagram, and I actually probably will share my video still will be the completed altar, so you guys will be able to see what I've done. And if you guys have any thoughts or questions or comments about Yule, you can share with me your experiences, your anxieties, your concerns, your excitement, all the emotions that come with this season. And I would really like to open a conversation about this because I by no means am just a love and light witch. I am very much a we feel the negative feelings for a reason witch. So I'm going to be perfectly honest. I am struggling this time of the year, and I always do for many reasons. So that is why I kind of wanted to open that conversation, have that vulnerability, while also embracing the season, because I do think that it is important to do so, because I feel like this is the only way that I'm really going to get any peace. So, and honestly, it's working. I am actually genuinely excited, which is good. So, I hope that this video was helpful for you guys. I hope that it was, you know, validating for you as well. And please, thank you for listening to my head noise. Please feel free to leave your head noise down below in the comments. And thank you for watching, guys. And as always, blessed be.